So we have covered so far data modeling, okay, then data security. In the data modeling, we have covered from like understanding what is object, then field, okay, then types of fields. Then we have also covered validation rules, okay. In the types of field, we have covered formula field, okay. Then we have also covered relationship relationship fields. So that means we covered lookup and find master detail. Okay, lookup and master detail. Yeah. So coming to data security, we have covered, okay, in the data security, okay, user management. That means how to add a user, how to deactivate the user, how to freeze the user. Okay. Then we have understood what is metadata and data. Okay. What is metadata and data? Then we have seen a way to, okay, we have seen a way to protect the metadata first. Then we have covered the data related. That means for protecting our metadata, which are like objects, fields, apps, etc. Okay, we have used profiles. Then to give any additional permissions, we have used permission set. Okay, then then we have covered, okay, data related things. That means roles. Sorry, first we have started with org wide defaults. Okay, like if you remember, we have made a particular object uh, private, public, read write. Okay, public read write, then public read only. Okay, then we have covered, okay, then we have covered roles, the way of creating roles. Then we have covered role hierarchy. Okay, so why I'm repeating this all is like we have to understand where we stand today. Okay, role hierarchy, then sharing rules. Okay, sharing rules, we haven't seen how to automate this sharing rules fully. So I'll make you understand this thing when you are perfect with this all things. Okay, because I see like few people of like from this batch are not creating the objects properly or not setting up roles, so they didn't practice it. Once you are done with this, then I can make you understand sharing rules perfectly, because sharing rules are the most important topic of all these things of the data complete data security. So we'll take one day, maybe this week or next week, once you all practice these all topics whatever we have covered till today, then we'll understand the sharing rules. Okay, that's fine. Now what we are going to cover this week, what we are going to cover this week, This week in the sense today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. The concept of automation in Salesforce. Salesforce with no code approach. Okay, with no code. In the development classes, we'll be having the code approach, but here uh, we have to think as an admin or consultant, uh, where we don't know any code. Okay, how to write a code. So we'll take the no code approach. That means we are going to create flows. We are going to create flows. Okay, we'll cover types of flows. Okay, types of flows. We will start with the one of the most important type of flow, that is record record triggered flow. Okay, then we'll understand like this record triggered flow, like what we can achieve with this record trigger flow. We'll see like how to send the, okay, how to send the emails, like that, how to send the emails, how to create records automatically. Okay, records like creation, updation, even we'll understand whether we can delete or not. Okay, then we will see the another type of flow called scheduled triggered flow. Then we'll understand another example, or answer another type of flow, that is screen flow. Okay, screen flow. These three we use on a regular basis, as admin in a day-to-day activities in the Salesforce, when you start working in any organization. So we'll cover these all three things in this week. Okay, then in the next week we'll start with agent force. Then we'll understand the basic architecture. Okay, then we'll see the real life examples. I mean, in our into Salesforce, we understand how this agent force can be implemented in our Salesforce, how we can build the AI agents. Okay, we understand prompt builder. So these all we'll see. So that I'm not going to like write it here. We'll see in the next week. Okay, so let's start with this week's topics, that is flows. Okay, so water flows. Suppose, suppose you know water objects. Okay, now you know water objects. So when you think of objects, so those are the like if you remember in the past we have discussed, objects are like a containers for us, or a data tables where we can start creating the data. Suppose if I say student, if I go to student, let it load. There is a student object. Okay, there is a student object. Whenever, okay, inside this data table or student object, a record is created. Whenever a record, okay, whenever a record is created, whenever a record is created, i want I want, okay, I want a contact record should be created. So this is quite simple. Okay, this is quite simple. A student record got created, then I want contact record to be created. Okay, when a student record gets created, I want contact record to be created. Why? With this student information, like student more like a mobile number, and with students name, I want another record to be created, means like a copy. uh, so how we can do that? So you don't know, right? When the, I mean, whether the admins or in the customer portal or somewhere, we don't know where this student record gets created from. Our team will only create, like I have now, I am the CEO, like let's suppose, and I have the managers, admins, and everyone in my team. So when a student approaches them there to them through the email or to the phone call or somehow, so my team will create one student record in my Salesforce organization. Then I want the contact record to be created. So that's a compulsory task for us. I mean, for my team, when a student records gets created, I want contact to be created. So when it is this is a compulsory task, so why do I go a manual approach and ask my team, hey, whenever you create student record, also create contact? I don't want that. I have the way of automation into the Salesforce. So how we can do that? With the help of flow, I will set up the like a flow where a student record gets created, then automation gets triggered, and for the with the same details, I will get the contact record also created. Let's see. Let's see. Let's say these are the existing students. Now I want to create a new student. So let's say course got selected, and let me give you the marks. Okay, done. So let me save it. So the student name is Sam. With the same Sam, okay, with the same name Sam, I want in another object. I want in another object, let's say contacts. Okay, let's say contacts. I want, okay, I want a record to be created. There are no contacts, so I can't see them. So then I want here, one second. Oh, hmm. See, I don't have the Sam contact here. But what was my requirement? Whenever a student gets created, okay, student record gets created in my organization, then I want the Sam record to be created automatically, okay, with the same details. So what I will do, instead of asking my team to create two records in two different objects, I will help them with the automation. So what I do, I go to setup. I go to setup. Then in the setup, I will choose flows. Okay, flows. So that you can see under the process automation section. So just open the flows. You can see different flows that are already available. Okay, in your organization. So if you want to edit them, you can go and edit the existing flows. But I want to create a new flow now. So what I do, I create a new flow. So let it load. Yeah. So we have, as I said, we have different types of flows. So coming to the categories, those falls under the. I mean, we have the four different categories. In that category, in the each category, again we have different types of flows. So coming to the categories of the flows, it's triggered automations, scheduled automations, screen automations, and auto launched automations. So we'll cover what are these all. For now, what we are discussing record triggered flow. Okay, we are discussing record triggered flow. So let me launch that record trigger flow. See, if I click on this view all automations, so you can see here, right? There are different types of flows and templates. We'll cover these all in this week. Let's start with the record triggered flow. Means whenever a record is getting created, then that will trigger this flow, this automation. And what this automation will do, that we can configure. I'll show you how. Okay. So this is called as flow builder, where we can configure here what this flow is going to do. And here we have a pictorial, like a flow chart kind of representation. That is why we call this as a flow. Okay, we have the flow chart kind of like a representation of our flow, where we can easily understand what are the next steps and what will happen if the condition met, what will happen if condition is not met, so that we can understand very clearly. Yeah. Now, this is a record trigger flow. When this flow or automation should trigger, so what was our requirement? Whenever the student record gets created, I want the contact record also should be created automatically. So then that falls under the a record is created. So when in these four options, we fall under our scenario, our example falls under the first category. Whenever a record is created, then I want to trigger this flow. Okay, that's fine. Now, on which object now? On which object? So, on which object this should trigger? On student object. Whenever a student object is created, then trigger this flow. Okay. Are we going to set any conditions? Means if the student is from India, or if the student is from US, or student is having certain marks, so like this, how you want to configure or not is we have the options. We can set the criteria, not for all the student records that gets created, but if the student record meets this particular condition, then only I want the contact to be created. So I don't have any requirement right now. I'll keep this as a none. Conditions, I'll keep it as a none. Now, optimize flow. So, optimized flows are like what this category is something different. We'll cover this category. What is fast field updates? Okay, fast field updates. Why we use that? We'll cover going further. Now we'll cover actions and related records. Okay, whenever this flow is created, then I want update any record and perform some actions like sending an email. Means after the student record gets created, after. Okay, not before, this is after. Okay, fine. Now run immediately. What it should do, it should create another record. These all are called as elements. These elements are categorized into different sections, so we'll cover that, but I'll go very very smooth way, I'll explain according to our example only. I want the flow to be triggered on the student object whenever a record is created, and what it should do, what it should perform, it should create another record. So I'll select this element in my flow chart. Now, this element again I'll configure. Create, I'll just write a name, create a contact to contact on student, sorry, on student record creation. I want the on student record creation. I want the contact record to be created automatically. Now, how do this contact record gets the data from? I mean, contact record in the sense, see, these are the contacts. If you want to create contact records manually, what we need? Let me click on this. We need salutation like Mr. or Miss. Then we have the name. Okay, Kalyan, and first name and last name. These two things are mandatory. Except this, there is nothing mandatory field here. So we need at least these two details, the first name and last name, for the contact record should be created. So if that is getting created automatically, so the question is, who is going to enter the data, Kalyan or some Indrani or Surabhi? So who is going to enter this data? So that we have to say the flow that take a record sorry, take the field, how to set the records fields values from a record variable. Which record variable? This student record variable only. From the student record variable, copy the name and put it in the contact objects fields while you are going to create that contact record. See, manually also there is an option. From a record variable also there is an option. Now, how many records to be created? I want only one record. Create a record from these values. So trigger dot student, triggering student, that whichever whatever the object, I mean whatever the record that gets created, from that we want the, I mean we want the like a contact to be created. Now, just a minute. Sorry, I should select manually because if I go with the like record variable, that's another scenario. So our scenario is to copy the name manually. That means manually in the sense not completely manually. We are going to configure here. So on which object? Record, create a record of this object. Which object? Contact. Yeah. So whenever a student record gets created, I want the contact to be created. So contact requires, as I said, last name. So last name, what we do is from this triggering object, I will select this name. Yeah, student name. So from the triggering object student name only, we want the last name to be taken. Now let us add, suppose let's say mm, first name, yeah, first name. Also, I'll take like that only. Same student name, Sam. Let it be because we don't have first name and last name for the in the student record, right? So I'll go this way. So I hope this is clear now. Whenever a student record is created, I want the contact record to be created automatically. So to create the contact record, suppose if you see here, we want the few details like the name details. Last name is a mandatory field. So what I do, I copy the name of the I copy the name of the student and put it into the contact record. So how? In an automatic approach, that is automation is a flow automation. Okay, that's fine. Let me click on save, create contact on student creation. Saving is different. Activating is different. Saving is just you have created a draft, okay, but when you click on activate, this gets activated, means your flow is now running. Now how to test this, how to test? Let's see how to test. Go to the or student object, go to the student object. Okay, go to the student object. When I created Sam a few minutes back, I didn't get the Sam account, sorry, Sam contact created in the contact object. But now what I do, I create Amar. Okay, student Amar was created. Let's check whether we got the contact created for this Amar student account, or do we have any errors? uh, you can see it, right? We got the contact Amar created. Amar, that means first name and last name we are taking the student name itself, right? So that's why we got like this. We can only have Amar as well, or we can have any other last name, so it depends. So name Amar and Amar. See, first name, last name. Where did you get this from? We have created a flow. Okay, we have created flow automation such that whenever a student record is created, I want the contact to be created automatically, and that contact, okay, that contact have some mandatory fields, like let's say first last name, that I want from this student records, student name, okay, whatever the triggering student record is there, from that record only I want the student name field to be copied to the last name, same I have taken as a copy to the first name as well, then we got it created. Is it okay? I can set any fields. If I want to have the birth date, then if a student object has that birth date field, then I can copy that. So you can copy any field from the student object to this. Clear? Clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is about the flow. Which flow we have talked about? Record triggered flow. So record triggered flow is a flow which gets triggered, or will it say automation which gets triggered on record creation. So we have the four options here: on record, whenever a record is created, whenever a record is updated, or whenever a record is created or updated, or even whenever a record is deleted. So on these four scenarios we can make the flow, this automation to be triggered. Okay. So why we use this one? Because see, whenever some lead is getting created, or whenever a student is getting created, whenever his parent record is getting updated, or whenever student records is getting updated, let's say fees, if my admin, okay, makes the student fees unpaid, then what should happen? Whenever my admin clicks on the unpaid checkbox or something, then I want this flow to be triggered and create a email, send a email. So these all things are automations which can which can happen based upon this records creation, updation, or deletion. So in those scenarios we will be using record triggered flow. this is what this is one of the flow. We have more different types of flow that we will be seeing, but understand this one. This is a record triggered flow. Now I want you to create a flow by tomorrow, such that whenever a lead is created, a lead, we have the leads, okay, Yeah, whenever a lead is created in your organization, then you have to create a contact record and the account record. Okay, whenever a lead is created, actually, the in a business scenario, whenever the lead is updated, lead is converted, we'll create contact and account. But to understand this record trigger flow, I want, whenever someone creates a new lead, then I want you to create a contact record and the account record. Okay, so this is your today's task. If you have any questions, let me know. Tomorrow I want like someone to showcase the flow automation that you have created for this. Like create the contact and account records, both objects records I want, whenever a record is created in the lead. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, what approach I want to take is, I want to make you understand in this complete. We have more 3 to 5 weeks, I can say, to complete this agent force and Salesforce admin concepts and this automation concepts. So every day in the last 15 minutes, we'll understand a project. We'll make ourselves like habituated to one kind of one cloud, one cloud, that is maybe a sales cloud or the service cloud, and implement something, okay, implement some automation or create some objects in that. So we'll make ourselves habituated to a cloud, so that helps in your interviews to answer that, okay, I created this agent force chatbot, or let's say I created this flow automation in the service cloud, in the service console. So, or in the sales pipeline, I have implemented this automation, or I have created a daily emails. So, like this, I want you to answer whenever you are facing the interview in the couple of weeks. So now, as a part of that approach, I am starting with the service console or service cloud. Okay, we'll understand the service cloud. In India, in Indian based companies, we have mostly service based companies. Service based companies are having wide range of utilization of these clouds, like sales, service, marketing, even revenue, health. So we have those, but the most popular or most common ones are sales and service cloud. That's the reason I want, like where we'll be preparing for the like Indian job itself in the Indian company, or like even the MNC. So I want these two clouds, sales and services, to be very handy for you. So we'll start with the service cloud. We are ending the today's flows topic, and tomorrow we'll resume the flows topic. Once you prepare, okay, any flow, once you create any flow, then you'll be having some doubts, you can ask that tomorrow and we'll continue. So we'll leave that aside and we'll start the concept of service cloud. We'll start the concept of service cloud. As I promised, I will be making you job ready in the 2 months. So that's why I have taken this approach of helping you to understand one cloud fully. Last 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes will dedicate for this service cloud. Now, what is service cloud? Service cloud is a application inside the Salesforce platform. This complete thing is a Salesforce. We know that. In that we have sales application, we have marketing, community, we have even the, let's say, even we can create our own applications. As I said in a week back, we can create our own applications for managing my institution or my hospital or my sales business, whatever. Now we are going with the standard application, one of the standard cloud on the Salesforce platform, that is Service Cloud. Yeah. So this Service Cloud, if you see, this is like this. So leave about this one: student, courses, interview batches. that got added whenever we created the of these objects in the backend. So leave this one, but focus on this one: home, chatter, accounts, contacts, cases, reports, and dashboards. Accounts and contacts are most common. Wherever you go, you will find this one. But as a part of Service Cloud, the most important one is cases. Okay, as a part of Service Cloud, the most important one is cases. What is a case? What is a Service Cloud? Let us see the example. Now you are having a Wi-Fi. Okay, you have a Wi-Fi connection in your home. Now, whenever you have, okay, whenever you have an issue, okay, whenever you have an issue, okay, whenever you have an issue with respect to internet, you go to their portal, okay, or you call them, or you email them that you are having an issue. Yes or no, you are having an issue. You will, they will ask you to please raise a ticket. They will ask you to please raise a ticket. So that ticket means what? You are raising a concern, you are raising a case, you are raising an issue with respect to your Wi-Fi connection with the, with the provider, let's say Act or Airtel. So you are going to raise a issue with them. So what it leads to, whenever you raise a ticket in their application, in the mobile application, or in their customer portal, or through the phone or email, for them it's a case. For them it's a case, it's a concern raised by the customer. So that they will be storing, that case they will be storing here. Okay, case is nothing but a ticket raised by the customer, or a concern raised by our customer. So we know Salesforce is for customer relationship management. So as a part of customer relationship management, not only sales and marketing comes in, the service also comes in, because service is the most important part of customer satisfaction or customer relationship. So to maintain that, we need a way to address the cases, to store the cases, to solve the cases, to solve the tickets very quickly. Okay, if a customer raises a Wi-Fi issue and we take 4 hours or 4 days, so there is a difference. If you take 4 hours, that's a good thing. If you take a 4 days, that's a not a good thing. So how to solve that cases very quickly, how Salesforce will help, those all will be covered when we talk about the Service Cloud. Okay, coming back to the Service Cloud, cases. So cases, again, it's a simple object. It's a simple object where it will also have some fields. If you see here, yeah, contact name means which contact. Suppose I'm the one who uses the Act Fiber. So what is my account? So Kalyan Chakravarti, let's say, or let's say Edge Communications is the uh, I mean, what we say, Edge Communication is the account name. I mean my account name, my company name, let's say, and Amar is my name. So then, regarding type, electrical, mechanical, we can create our own types. These are standard. This comes by default. We can change it. Let's say it's an electronic issue, case reason, performance, case origin, to the phone or email or web. Let's say I call them, then they created this case, or I emailed them, then they created this case. So status is new. Yeah, these are the main fields that we need to give. And subject, issue with internet speed. Let me just copy. Send notification email to contact. If I do that, this contact will receive the email. but I am not doing that one. Just I'm clicking on save. There you go. You got the case created. So all updates. If my team is working on this case, so this is a issue raised by the customer. Now, if my team works on this case, who is working on this? What is the status? What they are updating? So those all I can see. Picked by Chandana, let's say. Yeah, who is working on this? So this is all I can get the immediate details in this chatter. We say chatter or feed here. So if I do any call, the logs I can get here, text post, status changes, field updates. This all we can get related in the related information. If we have any related records for this case, like products, what product the customer is talking of. Sorry. So this is all we can see. Okay. Any activity, any task, any event, oh, any files that got up from the customer, like images we get, right? Images or something. So those all I can get. The complete case details I can get it here. So cases are the most important part of Service Cloud. And Service Cloud is the most important part of customer relationship management software. Any customer relationship management software. It is for us. It's a Salesforce, but if you take any Zoho or some whatever you take for the customer satisfaction, to maintain the customer relationship properly, we need we need cases. Okay, so today what you do is go to the Service Cloud, create few cases. Okay, create few cases. So take this as a task of creation of cases. So whenever you create a case, takes whatever the account the case belongs to, whatever the contact the person is, the person is responsible for this case. Means if I am the owner of this act fibers, and I'm the sorry, I'm the customer representative of this act fiber, then I should contact the person, right, who raised this. So the contact details, so mark, fill them correctly and create the cases. Now, there is something called a service console. Don't open that right now. Our journey is on the service. First service. Then we'll start with the service console. Okay, these both are related to each other. There is a slight difference, and there is a kind of importance with respect to service console. Why we use and why they created service console separately, we'll understand. But for today, your task is your task is create a case. Create a case. Now, whenever a case is created, let's send the emails tomorrow to the few organization people. We have the people in our organization, right? Let's say you, me, and Surabhi, Somja, we all are a team. We get a case. We are a at fiber team. We get a case, and all of us should get a email notification that hey, there is a case created by a particular customer. Then we can get okay, we can get the case information through the email. Then we can start working on the email. Start working. If I get a email notification, that means it's a priority one. So like that. Okay, we'll understand this case concept with respect to the flow tomorrow. And if you recall, I have given you the assignment of creation of account and a creation of account and contact records whenever a lead is created. That's a part of Sales Cloud. This case is a part of Service Cloud. So you will be understanding both the cloud service and Sales Cloud. Going further, we'll have having some automations. As I said, we'll do much more things on this Sales and Service Cloud. So here in the class, I have discussed about the service cloud. You have to do the record creation of leads, accounts, contacts with the help of flow in today's homework. If you do, that's beneficial to you. If you don't do, I can't help you out. Okay. So if you do and come up with the doubts, then I can help you with the doubts. Any questions? Yeah. So Soumya, you create the flows as you said you also don't have the experience with the flows. So start creating the flows. The flows is very huge concept. Okay, without writing single line of code, we can even implement the complex flows in real time. So you'll get to know that whenever you start practicing. So do that. If you have any questions, any doubts, you can ask me tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'll share this recording and the other recordings videos of my past class if it's possible to you on the I mean uh, chart. Let me 1 second, 1 second. Let me open the AD code platform. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, we have in this enroll for this one. We have my old classes as well. So data modeling from 10th class, class 10, data modeling. No, no. Not this one. 1 second. Yeah, class 11. Data modeling and flows. Okay. So if you just type the data modeling and flows, we have. So read that if possible. Enroll to this course. It's in Telugu. Uh, Even though you don't do that, I'll update this video today within a couple of hours. So where you can find the, I mean, in this only. Okay. So this is our LWC. So enroll to this as well. So you can, if you enroll, I'll approve it one. I'll approve this. Okay. So these are the two things. Okay. Thank you. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, we'll end this class. Okay. Bye.